aren't. We aren't finished yet. Slip of the clouds breaks the storm. Well, my fish grow restless.
Curse on luck. He's leaving me with no option. Switch to plan C.
Plan C? But sir, he doesn't even have armor on!
Just do it! Either we deploy our secret weapon, or he'll wipe us out. Go, Kaiuta! Deliver us from this accursed giant!
I applaud your desire to continue fighting, but you insult me with these useless toys.
Alright guys, welcome back to the stream, guys. We are about to finish our achievement hunt right now, guys. We got the last achievement we have to do is all of the fate episodes, which we don't normally do stuff like this in games until we want to use all the characters. So we only get the ones that the characters actually fought with and used throughout the game. So like our Swain, Sandalphon, like things like that, you know.
Commander,
Lancelot, Darletta, Catalina, Cagliostro.
Reject impossibility.
All right, so now we're at the last achievement. After this, we're good to go.
It was a
Full
nightmare.
form.
Actually worse. You could wake up from a nightmare. This was our reality.
Where are they? Bring me
Then
up,
we'll see
champion.
the homies get on today.
We
We'll
were
probably
in
do a little bit more farming.
Mine was clouded.
Probably gonna do
Barely
some
heard the
Lucy today
commander's
too.
order.
Got
I
to
saw
do the
it. I
DLC
saw
missions.
the
There's no
force of his
achievement for the
punches
DLC
redirect
missions right
the
now.
blizzard.
I'm hoping that they put
He had to be a
achievements
demon.
for beating
No
like
mortal could beat
the
the damn
second
weather
Lucy
into submission.
in
Not to mention the lack of
the
corpses.
achievement pool
This
after
battle
with
had
the
been
new
brutal.
update,
A
but
man like
it's
this,
not part of the
finally I
achievement
got-
yet. So I'll try to do those. I'll do those missions either sometime this week.
Hello there.
We don't want to skip through the Fate episodes, so we got a bunch of them. We was gonna leave. See, look, we left all the Fate episodes for like Bane, Percival, and Siegfried. We was gonna do another playthrough of the story, and we was gonna use Lancelot, and then have these three as our squads, like for Lancelot's story. How like these are his boys from his kingdom, and he's like prince or whatever. So we was gonna have a squad with them. But and then obviously this DLC. I'm pretty sure this is DLC. Either way, we're about to finish the rest of these. Let this play in the background while we go, so we can watch it. We don't want to skip these.
I will fondly remember my splendid time atop Mount Nagelith. Deadly blizzard pummeling my flesh, freezing cold stabbing my lungs, and swarms of monsters looking to turn me into a long overdue meal. These were already the perfect conditions for training, but sweet, generous fortune had even more in store. I crested a snowy knoll. What should I see but the obvious crusaders setting up camp for their own war games? Follow the fist, or it shall lead to serendipity. Unfortunately, however, it seemed my newfound sparring partners were on a stricter schedule than I, as they took their leave before I could properly thank them.
Nandagoza,
Dang.
a letter came for you.
I feel like the game can always be played from scratch
Now this was
using a
a
different
rare
character, which
occurrence.
I'm probably gonna end up doing when I use
It looks
my next
like it's
character.
from... Whoa, no way.
I hope I can play the
Her mouth was
the
a gate.
new
I peered down to read why. From
or
her
whatever
lungs,
they do with the summons.
the Silver Wolf Corps General. This would be intriguing.
Doubt it.
To Master Gondogotha,
Oh yeah,
distinguished
he's gonna be one of the
practitioner
playable
of the
characters.
Eternal Rage style. Thank you for meeting my strongest force
There's
on
like
the
so
field
many
of
characters for
battle.
Granblue. I'm about to play Versus. I was gonna play Versus today too, guys. I was gonna play Versus.
Some
We'll see
suggest
when
you may be stronger than me,
Loki and everybody gets on. I'm gonna see. I'm
which
gonna
is
ask them to see if
why
they
I demand a duel.
play Versus. We
If
could
you
definitely
are
do
not
like
a
a back and
coward,
forth type of thing,
meet
which would
me
be
in
cool.
front of Pradam's
Which is
sanctuary.
why I even got
On
Versus,
top
because I was
of
like,
Mount
you know
Nicholas.
what, like.
ASAP! I expect a death match as the skies have never seen before. Signed, the invincible and unparalleled general of the Silver Wolf Corps, Galanza.
Dang, my attack is already like mad high because I already have the catastrophe weapons in. That's so stupid. Alright. Well, I can't wait to finish our build with the newer sigils. The fusion was when they added the fusion in, it was like they already beat Lucy and we can already solo Lucy. So it was just like, alright,
right.
whatever.
Who knows what could happen during a fight with that man?
I feel like the biggest thing is really getting the stun up. I feel like for the next mission, it's gonna be like more survivability. Like I would need to have my survivability on the sigils on me because I'm not taking them off of like after I set up Catalina. I'm not taking them off. After I set up Catalina, I'm not taking them off. I was taking them off of Charlotta and swapping them when I early. But the problem with that is that when I stop playing for a while and then I want to come back and change my sigils and I'll be like, oh crap, now I gotta like make new ones. So I'm probably not gonna play Charlotta because she's also like a light. And my thing was like I was trying to find an element to use that an element that I can play as where I don't have to use War Elemental, but now I know I can get War Elemental Plus. So I gotta figure out how to find that, how to get that. That's gonna be ridiculous. I'm pretty sure you can only get it from the curio boxes. So they must have updated the curio boxes where you can get it in the curio boxes. Because I've never gotten it yet. I only got War Elemental from the curio boxes. So that's gonna be a grind. Like that's a grind within the grind. Which is why I don't worry about trying to like get them. But dude, what the heck? Alright, we gotta do another fight, and then we are almost done with his Fate episodes. His things are mad short. What the heck? I was just doing like a few of these, and they're so long. Like Sandalphon's are mad long. Sandalphon's are mad long. That's how I even know that like Lucy is actually like Lucifer. He's that's his head on Lucifer's severed body, and Sandalphon got passed over his title and powers and his standings over from Lucifer's severed head. And since Sandalphon was his like clone or whatever, like bro, it is like I was like, what the heck? Like I would have like never known that. I was just like, oh. I was just like, when I fought Lucy, I was like, oh, this is just like cool. Like this is cool as fuck. So like that's just. Now we're gonna be able to use like these two characters, which will be kind of wild.
What are you doing here? You could get hurt.
Oh wait, I'm getting
following the legend of a master martial artist
party
for
invite
years.
on Xbox.
And today, all of us
What
will
is this?
finally see his fist reach for the title of strongest. Don't blink or you'll miss it. A new legend is about to be born.
Sounds like somebody could use a reality
Hold on,
check.
guys. I'm not sure if I can use my
Suddenly,
headset back and
things
forth
have
like
gone
this.
from
I'm gonna
tense
try real
to
quick.
weird and tense.
Now, once again, Sky folk of all ages, prepare yourselves for...
Hey, don't step on our gig. There's already too many characters in this scene. We'll do the commentating around here. Fern, no. We're not licensed to broadcast. But never mind about our qualifications. Something more important was on the line.
I want a clean fight. Now, believe in victory. Engage!
We walk the path of eternal rage.
Well, the match of the century has just begun. Who do you...
Alright, so it looks like I am. Hold on, let me actually switch. I'm gonna switch my controller. Alright, so it looks like I am. Actually switch. I'm gonna switch my controller. Is your console? Wait. Your console, your gaming console does not either classic. Your console, your gaming console. What? Either classic. Nah, I'm gonna be like, that is black. That is black. Alright, so we're learning now. Hopefully this runs pretty well. I'm gonna make it pretty well. Oh, this jumps was an ace. This is oh my goodness, bro, what is this? There's like a gazillion again. Is this Snake? Why this? They put Snake in the kit there. Yeah, is this Snake? Why this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17 bonus. 17 bonus. Let me check this on my. This is cross-platform, right? By the way, guys. Okay, I should probably check. Alright, you know what? I'll just check. Oh, this is
don't think I have a copy. That's fine. I don't think I have a copy. That's fine. Yeah, it's like playing Smite. I never know which system I'm on. I never know which system I'm on. Alright guys, so let's finish getting this last achievement so we can platinum this game while we wait. Oh, I haven't taken power this. Oh, I haven't taken power this.
Come to view the request. What do you think?
Oh, I actually remember this map. Oh, it's a wrap. Let's go. Oh, I actually remember this map. Oh, it's a wrap. Let's go. Yeah, I actually know this map. Oh, I actually remember this map. Oh, it's a wrap. Let's go. Yeah, I actually know we're on track. Oh, I actually remember this map. Oh, it's a wrap. Let's go. Yeah, I actually know we're on track. Oh, I actually remember this map. Alright guys, we got about 5 more Fate episodes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They haven't done this. I haven't both these episodes. They haven't. Point 7 seconds. 0.7 seconds. At least I need there. Yeah, this got to be wild. I might have to get down with this one. I get to read his first one again. I bought the damn thing. I get to read his first one again. I bought the damn thing. Yeah.
yellow rubies instead of our reward for fastest. Racco procured it from Seed Hollow, I gather. But wait, that oink not just photomized and made improperly accurate photo technique. Bizarre! While Oink and Racco were distracted by their noble bigotry, there is Racco's new rifle. If he could open it, I'd press talk. Is that me? Is that supposed to be me?
Yeah, guys, it seems like on the screen, the PlayStation side, it's definitely the mic from the controller. That it's definitely in the screen. I guess it's just picking up a lot. So we'll do that for like for now while we do this.
Look how great
So we're trying to like play some seeds and
They did a decent capturing the majesty of my mane, even if it were a bit too bushy. I could not help but laugh. All the places my fists had taken me, this was the first where I had encountered my own facsimile. Though I hadn't bothered to tell anyone of my training on Mount Nagelith, perhaps I should be more vocal in the future. If not only to add more fan art to my widening legends, what joy that would spread! Ha 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 ha!
I'm from Tremont Island, a quiet little place where I lived with my parents and sister. Things were good, except my sister was suffering from a terrible condition. We couldn't treat her on Tremont, so she was forced to travel to another island, all on her own. Back then, skyfaring wasn't nearly the safe bet that it is today, so I wasn't sure if she'd even make it there, let alone receive treatment. I loved my sister more than anything, so waving bye to her as she took off toward an unknown future was the hardest thing I'd ever done. I hoped beyond all hope. I hoped till it hurt, that her cure would be swift, and she'd sail back to me with each setting sun. But the days, they grew into months. Sometime after she left, a brutal pandemic spread across Tremont, crippling our population in a matter of days. I was shocked, watching the good people I'd known all my life pass away. But I was horrified when it claimed my parents. And when it came for me, I knew death was waiting at the front door. What can I do? I thought, lungs heavy and weighing me to my bed. What could I do but turn to the skies and pray? Please, if you're listening, I want to hear my family. I want to hear their voices again. My pleas were answered, but not by salvation. No, it was Celeste, the primal beast of death, who descended from the heavens. She stole death from the suffering islanders, preventing them from slipping into the afterlife. They became zombies, sentient and rotting. Unlike the others, my corporeal form faded away, leaving my spirit to haunt the land. This, at least, gave me a faint hope. If I was given an unlife, then perhaps my mother and father would be given the same gift. But the months, they grew into years. And it became clear that though Celeste held dominion over death, life was a more complicated matter. It was my wish that had brought unlife to Tremont. I was to blame for turning my hometown into a living cemetery. If the villagers knew what I had done, well, that's why I chose to haunt the manor on the outskirts of town. Alone in those halls, with no one to talk to, I counted the days until I lost track of time. Solitude was better than guilt. Isolation was better than hearing my name used as a curse. But with time, the silence ate away at my name, until even I forgot who I was. It's true that there weren't people around the manor, but I did discover a few ghost animals floating about. They took a liking to me, probably because of our shared ghosthood, and I gave them cute names to show my affection. Beppo, Gigi, Fuji, and Nicola. Before I knew it, my lonesome days became a little less gray, if not less repetitive. I watched so many tomorrows and yesterdays pass me by. I felt as stale and constant as the mists that covered the island. That all changed when the crew came to my manor. They were a cheerful, lively group, but also straightforward and intimidating. It had been so long since I needed to interact with other people. I knew that if I made contact, I would have to acknowledge the real depth of my loneliness. So I ran, and they gave chase. So I ran again, and they followed once more. No matter where I fled, they found me, undeterred by my spectral form or my ghostly pets. Finally, I decided to ask them about their situation. Thanks to the mists, they explained, their airship was grounded on Tremont. Like me, like the other islanders. We were all prisoners of Celeste. So long as she still had a pact with the island, there would be no refuge from her fog. But, by the same token, her powers preserved the unlives of Tremont's people, myself included. If Celeste was brought down, we would fade with her. It troubled me, but I knew it was a necessary course of action. I had only one thing to accomplish before confronting the primal beast of death. I needed to come clean to the islanders. It was time to make amends. Had it not been for the arrival of the captain and the crew, I would never have found the strength to make that decision. I marched straight to the village, took a deep breath, and explained to the people how I doomed everyone. But to my surprise, they looked upon me with sympathy and warmth. With the understanding and support of the islanders, I called Celeste once again, but she didn't appear, and the mist still covered the island. That's how I learned the truth. It wasn't only me who had crossed Celeste's fate with her own. The other culprit was the doctor who was traveling to our
I kind of feel like when it comes to that, there's like secretly conducting research when it comes to there's like more like instead of like sugar on like
We found that his had already been swallowed by the primal beast of death. He couldn't cough up any helpful information. Despite the setback, both the crew and the islanders managed to find and defeat Celeste. The mists parted, and the island returned to its former state. Its residents began to peace the great beyond.
There's a wall here. Can you break this? Oh, you can break this now. Yeah, okay. There's a wall here. Can you break this? Oh, you can break it.
Leaving behind only their memories. Closed my eyes and waited for my final moment. But no matter how long I waited, I never began to fade. Left behind.
Oh, bro.
I stared out at the village, devoid of residents.
My name is Paul.
But I could accept that.
Oh,
And
it's not there.
the nameless ghost was no more, because a strange man gave me an oddly familiar name. So long as I had his name, and my memories with the crew, I could wait decades, maybe even centuries, for my sister to return. I think the captain, however, couldn't bear leaving me to such a hollow fate, and invited me to the crew. But how could I leave the island? I knew that my little sister would come back to me, even though we were no more than graves and warm thoughts. This is where her family was laid to rest.
On PlayStation, yo, I'm sorry, guys. That squeak is too much. I'm gonna mute my mic.
But I knew
Yeah, yo, on PlayStation, yo, I'm sorry. That squeak is too much. I'm gonna mute my mic. On PlayStation, yo, I'm sorry.
with a clue. Somewhere, out there in that big blue sky, my sister is waiting for me. One day, I was out shopping in Seed Hollow Central Plaza when I saw a woman with kind eyes sitting on a bench. She was absorbed in her needlepoint. Your embroidery is beautiful.
Oh, aren't you a dear? Thank you.
Her smile was genuine and cozy, just like the blanket she was working on. She told me it was a present for her beloved. I've never seen anyone so outside before. She giggled. Really? I'm hoping some of this cheerful sunlight works its way into the fiber. Her name was Malfira, and she invited me to have a seat beside her. Admittedly, the weather was beautiful, the kind that made you appreciate being alive. Or, well, unalive. There was a long, thin trail of white dividing the sky, the aftermath of an unfortunate cloud that had been pierced by a wayfaring airship. How fragile those clouds. How fragile our journeys. I glanced back at Malfira, who looked to be making diligent progress. A familiar memory crept to mind, of a time when I begged my mother to sew new stuffed animals for me and my sister. The nostalgia was comfortable, welcomed even, but I was brought back to the present when I heard a troubled sigh from beside me. Is something wrong? Such a forlorn expression didn't match Malfira's cheerful disposition.
Oh, sorry to worry you. It's nothing I would bother a stranger over.
Malfira forced a grin and stretched the throw across her lap.
It's just, I had hoped to use warming thread on this little project.
What kind of thread? I didn't even know there were different types of thread. But according to Malfira, there was a type of insect native to Fondom whose silk was imbued with magic. Items made from this silk were said to retain a comfortable warmth all year round.
If only I could get to Fondom on my own. And then there's the matter of tracking the insect.
Her smile never quavered, but the way her eyebrows stitched together, ever so slightly, covertly signaled her true disappointment. I could do it for you! I know I look young, but I'm a veteran Skyfarer! I put my hands on my hips and puffed out my chest, a posture I hoped would inspire confidence.
Oh, that's sweet. But it was just a silly thought. My fault for having unrealistic expectations, really.
From her tone alone, I could tell the pose did not, in fact, inspire confidence. Later, after a quick discussion with the captain, we decided to head to Fondom anyway. I needed Malfira to finish her blanket. I just didn't understand why yet. All pets on deck. According to Sierra, the insect in question nests atop the local wildlife, but there's a rumor a vicious monster also makes its home here. Stay... on your toes. Those look like fire spirits.
We better get them before they get us!
Ready for action.
Watch your step. It's so hot! I feel like my sweat is sweating! Why are we going through the trouble again?
Sorry. I just wanted to put a smile on Malfira's face. She looked so... I don't know... forlorn?
But it was your first time meeting her, wasn't it? Who's she to you?
I know it's a weird connection, but her name... It sounded like my sister's. Looks like someone wants to fight. Let's teach them not to butt in. More wyverns. Momo, you bring up the rear. It's all right, Nicola. I'll protect you from the mean monsters.
Huh? What's that?
Vern, look out! It's a monster in disguise! You must be that vicious monster we heard about. If you thought you could get a leg up on us, you have another thing coming. Another one is a bug. Now we can find that bug in peace. Spineless bunch, weren't they? Is this what you were looking for? I proudly displayed the hard-won thread to a surprised and overjoyed Malfira.
My word, you really are a Skyfarer, aren't you?
She took the spool for a closer look.
Yes, this is the genuine article. I can't accept this for free. Let me see what money I have on me.
From her purse, she pulled a single, unfamiliar coin. I knew from its extravagant design that it wasn't in circulation anywhere near Seed Hollow, but it looked valuable all the same. I refused the gesture. Retrieving the thread was my decision. I wanted to see that blanket finished. A reward was never part of the equation. Malfira's grin bloomed into a full belly laugh. She told me I was a strange girl. Laughing with her, I replied that I had met stranger. Hello there. What do you think? We made another pit stop in Seed Hollow, which gave me the chance to check up on Malfira and her progress with the blanket. Lyria and Vern came with me, and their eyes lit up when they saw her intricate embroidery. just like mine did that first sunny day. Though I hadn't known Malfira for very long, I felt a kinship with her, and I liked to watch her determination evolve with each new stitch. But most of all, I liked that her kind smile, maternal and comforting, was always able to put me at ease. I'd never met anyone so genuine. In fact, nor had my pets.
Who's a spooky boy? Yes, you are.
Malfira playfully scratched behind Beppo's ears. The mood was light, so I decided to learn a little more about my friend. I noticed you're in the Central Plaza quite often.
More or less. I don't have much else to occupy my time. Not with that silly boy still playing in the sand.
Malfira's partner was a geologist on dispatch in Dali, an extended dispatch, it seemed. Dali was an island of deserts, with bitterly cold nights. To Malfira, a cozy blanket seemed the perfect way to combat the harsh environment.
Maybe it won't be necessary. He's coming back for a visit on the Airbus next month, and I'm about to burst with excitement.
Her joy should have been infectious. Try as I might to put on a brave face, my heart sank at her words. The Airbus from Dali? Of course. During the next month's visit, Malfira looked more downtrodden than I had ever seen. Vern expressed his distress before I could vocalize my own.
Holy spools, lady! You look like you've been up all night. You feeling okay?
Malfira meekly raised her head, barely affording him a grin.
My love, he didn't come back to me.
It took me a moment to find a response. I'm sure... I bet he'll find a way to return next month. She had already been waiting an eternity for him. What comfort were my words? And yet, she still found the strength to smile.
I hope so. I'm so tired of moping around like this. It's getting harder to stay positive, but I'll find a way, for his sake. That man, you know, he's so absent-minded, he probably mixed up the date on his ticket.
Malfira unrolled the blanket across her lap, checking the backing of her stitching.
I've poured a lot of love into this design. I hope he likes it.
As she vacillated from melancholy to forced cheer, and back again, I had to bite my lip for fear my thoughts would spill out. One month passed, and still no word from Malfira's beloved.
I'm sure he has his reasons.
Lyria tried to comfort the young seamstress, but Malfira's smile was noticeably dimmer than before.
Yes, you're right. He's not one to take risks or push himself too far. There's nothing to worry about, I'm sure.
Her words sounded strained, like she was trying to convince herself. I thought I knew what was happening, but I couldn't bring myself to acknowledge it. Not yet. We were all stuck in awkward silence, so I changed the subject.
How did you two meet?
It was in this very plaza. He was a bookworm, so he came here to do his reading. I was out catching some sun myself when he found the courage to sit next to me. I turned to greet him and he shoved a book on embroidery in my face. Not the greatest first impression, huh?
Energy returned to her movements. Color returned to her smile.
So what did you do?
You're going to laugh. I told him I already owned the book. His face turned pale as a ghost, but it was cute, seeing him all vulnerable. So I asked his name, and the rest is history.
She shut her eyes, savoring the nostalgia. Then she sighed.
Guess I'll have to go to Dolly and drag him home myself, won't I?
No, not that. I couldn't let her go to Dolly alone. After witnessing her optimism return, I couldn't let her learn the truth. No, you should stay here. We'll go for you. Dolly can be a dangerous place, and I'm sure your partner wouldn't want anything to happen to you. I hoped that logic would be enough.
Dolly? Dangerous? But so many people live there. But if a sky-faring crew is offering their services, who am I to deny professionals?
Vern scrunched his face in confusion.
Lots of people? What are you talking about? Dolly's basically a giant sand...
A quick nudge was enough to interrupt Vern. I hoped Malfira had missed the majority of his comment. You can trust us. We handle this kind of assignment all the time. We'll be back before you know it.
Okay, let's do it.
My air of confidence, false though it was, seemed to bring her welcome relief.
Could you take the blanket with you? I wanted to give it to him myself, but I know he's probably already spent weeks freezing at night, and it won't do me any good here.
She pushed a soft bundle into my hands. It was warm to the touch, thanks to the silk from Fondom, but it was also warm to the soul, thanks to the love and care that Malfira put into every stitch. Of course, it would be my pleasure. Everyone, to the fight! According to Malfira's map, the excavation was near the central ruins.
You sure you want to trust that dusty old thing?
Point taken. But we can at least get a sense for the lay of the land. Now let's go. Huh? place is crawling with monsters. Stay on your toes, everyone.
Clean this place up so we can start our search. Welcome to the show. All my money. All at once.
Doesn't look like anything's here. Maybe we'll find something back at the western campsite. It's worth a look.
Do these guys get paid to fight us or what?
I'm starting to get restless. Come on, let's hurry. This place feels right somehow.
I think I saw someone over there. Let's go. Where'd that dude from before go?
I think I know.
No, it can't be.
I'm afraid so. He's no longer with us, but we've at least found his resting place. That's some comfort.
What? No, that's impossible.
We all stood before a grave, created 15 years ago in the wake of a terrible calamity. And there, I wrapped the blanket around. Malfira put her heart and soul into this blanket. Take care of it, okay?
Come to view the request. Here it is. What do you think? Have a nice day. Is your stomach growling? Then give it what you want. Hello there.
When I returned to she was really. He said, Malfira, I'm not sure on her own. It clicked, but now I watched
Someone.
Malfira.
Oh, hush.
Malfira, she smiled her last. Before we
Darling.
Before I was ready, wrapping the turn. It's okay now.
Foul smell fills the air as my dissolving limbs grow black.
Protect the captain! Get him somewhere safe!
No, leave me. Run.
As long as you're alive, we can rebuild. We promised, didn't we? Our lives are in your hands.
You're not allowed to make the sacrifice for me. Please, save yourselves. I'll never forget the memory of that day. My conceit put us in that mess, but I was the only one who made it. After all the good times we shared, after all the pain, they would have to live on in my memory. Once I could pick myself back up again, I began to temper my body. I swore I'd never let the same tragedy repeat itself. It wasn't long before this husk became resilient, augmented and conditioned to withstand even lightning. I no longer felt physical pain, or much of anything at all. It was preferable that way. I could be a shield to protect others, to protect them from the same tragedy that befell my crew. Having lost my place in the world, I found a home in the society, and quickly became contractor to the seal weapon, Great Scythe Grynoth. My missions were simple: hunt primal beasts or exterminate the foe. I did my job so that I could keep people safe, to aid them in their time of need. But despite my best efforts, I still failed. I was powerless when Vern was kidnapped right in front of me. Worst of all, I could do nothing but watch as our hopeful new recruit was cut down. What good was I when I couldn't even protect a single one of my comrades? Maybe the real mistake was believing I could do good in the first place. I joined the society to protect others, which sounds noble on paper, but in reality, it was all for my own sake. I'm the reason that my old crew, my family, found an early grave. It was only right that I spend the rest of my meager life in atonement. At least, that's the excuse I told myself. In truth, another part of me was deluded into thinking I could free myself from the guilt, but only if I could change into
Alright guys,
another
we're gonna continue
person.
doing
Turns out that being immune to physical torture does nothing to protect your heart from psychological torment.
stories.
Speaking of mental suffering, not long after I joined the society, Ilsa assigned Zeta as my partner. The old me would have worked with her just fine, but too much had changed. Her blunt honesty rubbed me the wrong way. A man can only take so much random commentary before he goes insane. Even Ilsa called her Pupper, which was kinder than what I had in mind back in those days. But it was an apt name, considering all of her barking. I didn't care about forging a real partnership with Zeta. Every time we had a mission together, I just wanted to finish it as fast as possible. But it backfired. Whenever I pushed her away, she pushed back 10 times harder. She was determined to know me. I would have never admitted it out loud, but I was afraid. After all, the closer you are with someone, the harder it is to cope with their loss. As for why I joined the captain's crew, well, I had my reasons. The captain's father was awaiting our crew in Estalucia, and that meant duking it out with primals and gathering sky map pieces along the way. The captain was strong and humble, had a knack for overcoming hardship. With leadership like that, I knew this crew could actually make it. That's not to say they were running a flawless operation. The way I saw it, they had two big problems. Vern and Lyria, the Red Dragon and the Girl in Blue. It's true they were core members of the crew, but they possessed powers which could represent grave consequences for the skies. Should one overflow with astral energy, or the other absorb enough primal power, they would be erased and herald the destruction of everything as we know it. It was possible the captain could reach Estalucia without any sacrifices, but I wasn't the type to bet on fate. These kids needed a shield. This body of mine would protect them all, no matter what came to pass. At least, that's what I intended. During the fight against the Moon Dwellers, I lost myself to the Automagod Grinoth's power and raised my scythe against the crew. As pathetic as it was, I became the very threat I swore to protect them from. That was why I prepared a way to stop my own heart. I wouldn't hurt my comrades again. If I couldn't protect anyone, then the least I could do was make sure I could do no more harm.
What are you playing at, Vasaraga? Is this your penance after what happened to Lester?
I was fine with sacrificing myself, as long as I could save someone else. A part of me even believed I deserved such a fate.
I hate when you act alone. You could have come to me for help first, you know? We're partners, damn it!
I couldn't feel pain, but somewhere inside I felt like a wound had split me in two. It took me far too long to realize that it hurt my comrades to see me suffering. That I had chosen to run instead of face my fears.
Did you hear me, you big lug? You're not gonna drop dead on us. Not on my watch.
My partner's instincts were sharp enough to cut right through me. But it was her words, honest and blunt, which shattered the walls around my cowardly heart. The pain I should have dealt with a long time ago came spilling out, but this time it was accompanied by a burning desire. We're going to survive this, together. And that's the way it's been ever since. Early in the morning, before the crew was to head out for a request, I headed to the forest surrounding Folca to conduct a test on Grinoth. On the way, I was stopped by the sight of a young girl watering the vegetable garden by her home, the wet plants sparkling beneath the morning sun. But something felt off about the scene. In contrast to the bright garden, a dark, foul mist seemed to surround the girl. Upon noticing me, she scrambled back into her house. The miasma clung to her as she fled. Sorry, lass. Shouldn't have snuck up on you like that. But that odd mist looked too real to be an illusion, and yet it didn't seem to be doing any harm. I decided to keep an eye out. After all, Folca was bustling with the influx of refugees from Tempeel. And there was no telling what could happen in strange times such as these. Grinoth ripped through the silence as I looked. At least, whoever it was, I know you're there. Turning around.
That black...
Her expression was...
I'm tired.
The flood mystery.
I only wanted to...
The girl, it was a feeling before fear. Sorry. Need to gather.
Okay.
Keep close. Maybe it was just... Time to go home. Should be this way. Come if you dare. That didn't feel like an earthquake to me. Paths blocked by a boulder.
Weird. It wasn't here before.
Let's look around. Someone's hungry. Stand back. I'll take care of it.
You actually defeated that huge beast by yourself.
Good. You're not hurt. Now, what do we do about that boulder?
I know another way back. It'll take longer, but...
Fine by me. You take the lead. Into my web! Battalions of fear!
Over here.
I feel eyes on us. We're not alone.
Zombies!
I've got them. That's that. Ready to go?
Yeah. What is that? You look exactly like a Reaper.
I guess I'm no slouch with the scythe. It's not your time yet. Not today. So, what's this whole obsession? Upon arriving at the girl's home, I was met by a shocking sight. The thriving garden I'd seen before was now gray and withered, its fruits and vegetables rotting away. How could all the life have been sucked from this place in such a short span of time? When I looked at the girl, she purposefully avoided my gaze. I decided against questioning her for the moment. Whatever's going on, I might be able to help, but we can talk about that later. You should rest.
Okay.
She took an unsteady step through the door of her home. As I watched her go, I felt eyes on the back of my head. But when I turned around, no one was to be found. Yeah, I doubt I imagined that. I spent a few moments scanning the perimeter, but soon found nothing of concern. I decided to call it a day.
Come to view the requests?
Curious about the girl and her garden, I headed once more toward the forest on the outskirts of Folka.
I never had a chance to thank you for the other day.
Though she was more lively than before, her spirit was clearly drained.
I guess it feels wrong to call you Mr. Reaper now.
The name's Vasaraga. The girl introduced herself as Irene. As she spoke, I noticed her wrist was wrapped in a bandage. I asked if she was injured, but this caused her to grimace.
Oh, this? It's fine. I just, cut myself is all.
In a thinly veiled attempt to change the subject, Irene offered me some juice made from homegrown fruit.
This is the least I can do to thank you. Do you want to drink some together?
Apple. Not bad. We sat at her table and began to chat. She told me that she hailed from Grossgard, a small region near Seed Hollow. Having just moved to Folka, she was still a new face to the locals. Do you take care of the garden by yourself?
Yes.
Tense. Holding in on herself like a withering flower, she became the complete opposite of the girl I watched happily watering her plants. But it was not her forlorn expression that gripped me. It was the mist. Ever her formless companion, a swirling miasma seemed just beyond her perception. There were far worse things in the skies than a little smoke, but I knew this was more than it seemed. Mind if I stop by again? I could visit between requests. I wanted to help her, but not out of a misguided sense of obligation. I just wanted to make sure she never forgot what it was like to smile.
Wow, these vegetables are very... unique. Yes, unique.
I brought Vern and Lyria with me in hopes of lifting Irene's spirits.
How do you make a tomato look like a shriveled bone? That's talent, I guess.
Vern was, for better or worse, brutally honest. Now, who did that remind me of?
Vern, don't be rude. It's fine, Lyria. He's not wrong.
Though she had every right to be offended, Irene took the comment in stride. Our two most carefree members of the crew seemed to be rubbing off on her. Guess it was the right call to bring them. I'm not the best at brightening the mood.
So Vasaraga told us about your plants. You want them to grow big and healthy, but they keep withering, right? Yes.
After a moment of silence, Lyria gave Irene a sympathetic smile, encouraging the girl to divulge her feelings. She began to perk up. Guess Zeta was right. It really is easier to share your worries with someone closer to your age.
Taking care of those little ones is my purpose in life.
She went on to recount how she had always been a loner. From a young age, her only friends were the plants she cared for. Recently, she had discovered that she could hear her plants talk, though she had no idea how or why.
But now, it's like my precious friends are fading away, one by one. I don't know how much more of this I can take.
Not long after she had gained the ability to communicate with her cherished plants, they suddenly began to wither and die one after another. She could hear them wail in agony as they reached their end. It was no surprise that she soon reached her breaking point.
A few are still alive, but I'm sure they'll join the others in no time. If this is all that's waiting for me in the future, then I would rather not live to see it.
Watching the lives of your loved ones slip out of your fingers? I could relate to that. What was she supposed to do? Distance herself from her reason for living? Wasn't that as good as dying? I eyed the black mist. Look, there's gotta be a way to fix things.
What? But I've tried everything.
Squeezing her bandaged wrist, Irene looked up at me in confusion. I did my best to reassure her without betraying the worry gnawing at my mind. What happened here? I had stopped by Irene's garden after finishing our quest, only to find every single leaf and stem had turned black and rotted. It felt unnatural, like something had completely sucked the life from what should have been a thriving patch of greenery. Filled with dread, I rushed inside the house, but Irene was nowhere in sight. It was then that I noticed a letter on the floor.
To the blasphemer who betrayed Avia. You should know that Lady Lilith wished to bathe the skies in destruction. Have you not yet realized that clinging to life is folly? That living is a sacrilege to all we preach? You have two choices before you. Watch as that forbidden implement spreads darkness to all those innocent folk living around you. Or return to Avia and repent.
So Irene had ties to the Church of Avia, and they'd fitted her with some sort of cruel device. Reminded me of Lyria and the Mind Sealer. If they had hurt Irene like they hurt Lyria... Damn. Thought I'd finally dealt with this pain. But there I was, failing to protect yet another innocent life. Brooding on it for too long wasn't going to bring Irene back, so I left the house and scoured the town. Avia always had a flair for drama, but I detected no commotion in town. Which means, bastards snuck away in a ship. Knowing there were precious few minutes to trail them, I rushed to the port. The captain, who saw me rushing to the port, joined me in the chase. Sierra Carte, who was always in the right place at the right time, heard a room we took found after we I assume let up. I'm afraid the tension in
that device.
You call maybe these she shows at the Brinoth. Lend me your take them, Brinoth.
I offer my life for Lady Lilith! For Lady Lilith! These guys never know when to quit. Call for reinforcements. We stop them here!
There's no end to them!
Rackham, can you pull up alongside them? We need to board and find Irene.
Of course! No kid is getting kidnapped on my watch.
our salvation! Defend her to the end!
Battalions of fear! Your life is mine!
Fantastic.
I'm on it.
Awesome, big guy.
Careful, more are coming.
It's too late to beg for mercy now, outsiders!
Our salvation will be as Lady Lilith foretold.
You even know what Irene wishes for?
What?
How could I?
Accursed outsiders!
Basaraga, did you come for me?
You're safe now. Let's get you home. By the time we carried Irene back to the Grand Cipher, half of her body was shrouded in the dark mist. A sinister-looking device was clamped around her wrist, where the bandage had slipped off.
I don't advise using force to break it. That would put Lyria's life in danger.
I remembered what Roland said back on Mount Nagilith. Removing one of these implements by force could cost Irene her life, but there was no time to search for another method.
Basaraga, I'm sorry. I've caused you trouble again.
Irene weakly apologized, barely conscious.
It's okay. You can break the bracelet. My life is in your hands.
As long as you're alive, we can rebuild. We promised, didn't we? Our lives are in your hands.
I clenched Grinoth tighter. Irene had already accepted her end, but I swore to protect them. I swore to protect them all. With my heartbeat thundering in my ears, I focused my entire being on the device. Grinoth and I became one as I swung down. We cut through the dark mist, and a burst of blinding light swallowed everything.
Hello there. What do you think?
After some time had passed, I stopped by Irene's home while out on a request. Well, well. A comforting and familiar sight greeted me. The garden was bursting with vegetation, much like the first time I saw it.
Basaraga!
Standing amidst the greenery, Irene waved at me with a smile. I should apologize. You can't hear your friends anymore because of what I did. She shook her head, her smile still present.
No, I shouldn't have let the church tempt me like that. I'm sorry for dragging you and your crew into my mess.
A hint of sorrow graced her features.
I can't hear these little ones anymore, that's true. But I can still tell what they want to say.
Is that right?
Yeah. Sometimes your heart just knows these things.
She turned to look up at the sky, a few tears sliding past her smile.
Like how I knew to reach out to you, even if I thought you were the Reaper. Thank you for saving me, Basaraga.
Anyone would have done the same. With a careful shuffle, I turned away. A dainty garden was no place for an armor-clad warrior to stomp about. I'll see you around, Irene. I took one last look at the vibrant garden before heading back to the ship. The morning had barely begun when Zeta came barreling over with a package addressed to me. It was stuffed full of fruit, which only confused her further.
Huh? Aren't these Volca gold fruit? Lucky man! I heard their produce is all the rage these days.
Whoops. Guess I hadn't told Zeta about Irene and her garden yet. Looks like the pantry is full. Help me carry these back to my room.
Sure, but this is kind of a lot for a midnight snack.
I figure being surrounded by a little more nature couldn't hurt.
Didn't take you for the crunchy type. Gonna grow your own orchard or what?
She was joking, but honestly, it didn't sound like such a bad idea. Ever had fresh apple juice before? I'll make you some, as thanks for helping me carry everything.
Wait a minute. You never put this much effort into treating me. Is this a trap?
A skilled gardener taught me a trick or two. Never hurts to practice a new recipe. The vibrant fruit told me how well Irene was doing. Much better than any letter could. Offering her garden a silent word of thanks, I was ready to enjoy its generous harvest.
Mother said she would bring us salvation. It was a glorious message, and for that she gained a devoted following. As for me, how could I doubt the woman who pulled me from the fiery wreck, who raised me as her own? I thought that together we would save the Sky Realm, even if it meant cutting down any who opposed us. But over time, the sacrifices began to mount. I struggled. My reason battled with my heart, which battled with my conscience. Mother was pure and righteous, but to sacrifice the entire Sky Realm... No. She just lost her way for a bit. She'd wake up one day and see she had strayed. As her child, as her defender, I wanted to believe that she'd change for me. Even at the very end, when I was forced to turn my sword on her, I was praying for an alternative. Any alternative. But she would not repent. And I was confronted with the full force of the atrocities I'd committed in Avia's name. But there was one light left to guide me.
Just follow your heart. It might lead you to scary places, but at least you'll know you're being true to yourself.
Thank you, Lyria. If you hadn't reminded me of my own strength, I'd still be in the dark following Lilith. I swear to you that I will fix even more than I destroyed. And one day, perhaps I will be worthy of your forgiveness. 15 years ago, Dolly fell prey to a violent catastrophe. One that still lives etched in my mind. There was an explosion. Immense and sudden. My home went up in flames, and with it the only life I had ever known. People were fleeing and dying in all directions. The air was filled with screams and the smell of burning. Then I heard it. The soul-piercing roar of a dragon. My short life should have come to an end that day. Except...
Shh. It's okay. Let me be the one to save you.
Salvation came in the form of a kind woman. Her name was Lilith, prophet of the pilgrims of Avia. From that day forth, she was both my mother and mentor. I worshipped her. And the thing about devotion is, it makes you blind. Mother had followers in the hundreds, thousands, and my simple child's mind thought, well, if this many people have faith in her, she has to be good, right? I wanted desperately to be of use to her. So I trained to be the perfect guardian.
Young Id, one day you shall be as mighty as I.
General Galanza taught me how to fight.
You wouldn't want the other pilgrims saying you're riding your mother's coattails, would you? Then you must prove yourself.
General Magliel taught me why we fight. My training was harsh, but that's how I acquired the makings of a general. All effort, no nepotism. Finally, I had some value to Mother. Her sharpest sword. I never felt happier or more accomplished. I thought we were going to save the Sky Realm. The naivete of it all. After we captured the Shaman of Salvation for Lilith's cause, I was assigned to be the girl's keeper. That made me enemy #1 to the Grand Cypher's crew. Every time I took Lyria to a primal beast altar, they'd be there, and we'd fight. I mean, there was a time or two we had to cooperate to prevent widespread calamity. That's beside the point. They were standing in the way of Lilith's mission, opening a path to the Promised Land to Estalucia, and bringing salvation to all Sky Dwellers. Salvation. It's a powerful word in a messed up world like ours. No wonder everyone got roped in by her lies. Lilith was no more than an astral desperate to return to her home dimension, and she would have sacrificed the whole Sky Realm to do it. I tried to reason with her. Might as well have asked an avalanche to change course. So I turned to prayer. But what are hopes and belief without action? So left with no other choice, I joined the crew of the Grand Cypher to dispatch my own mother. But I never could have foreseen what would happen next. Lilith did something, and freed a monster from within me. The dragon I'd seen the day Dolly burned, with wings so vast they overshadowed all of Sega Grande. Bahamut Versa. But then I learned, Bahamut didn't cause the Dolly calamity. It had come to stop it. It was Lilith who killed my family and razed my home. She'd only let me live for one reason. She needed a vessel to seal the dragon in, and I was conveniently nearby. She'd raised me to win my loyalty, and protect herself from the god of destruction now living inside me. But when I stopped being of use to her, she abandoned me and let me turn into Bahamut. I don't know how to describe the feeling of flesh melting into scales, a fire filling your stomach. All human warmth, human blood seemed to rush from my veins, and it was replaced by an overwhelming urge to destroy. It was like being swept away in a torrent. Any attempt to fight it only made the suffering worse. I was so tempted to give in. But the crew wouldn't let me. Apparently, the captain was sure I wouldn't lose my soul battle with Bahamut. So to help me along, they decided to beat on the dragon from the outside until he coughed me up. Yeah, not the most elaborate plan. But it worked. The whole time they were fighting, they called my name, and the sound of their voices brought me back. I split myself from Bahamut, then joined the crew to take it down. We had our losses, though. Bahamut hit me and the captain with a blow that sent us hurtling into another dimension. A man named Roland dove in to save us, sacrificing himself along the way. And that's how we came back to Folka without him. Roland used to be the local Mr. Fix-It, by the way. And I took up that mantle. I owed him that much. And I figured it'd be a first step in making amends. And that's where this new chapter in my life begins. Me, as the new Mr. Fix-It. After clearing up some requests,